And yet, I feel like as much as he's, put up as an example of like the definition of, kleptocracy, third world dictatorship and stuff like that, I feel like there is still a kind of deep nostalgia for him in this Western world. I think they kind of loved him, right? Because he was a team player in that respect. Even when he did something that they didn't like, it was like, look, guys, it's not that serious. You know what I mean? You could say, I'll still do whatever you want me to do.
Who's nostalgic about him?
Well, it was funny. When I was looking up certain things, and I think I was looking for more Mobutu songs or whatever, because I always do the music stuff. I saw like one of these, it's French TV, whether it's like France 24, one of those channels on YouTube had this segment. It's like the people of Congo, are they still nostalgic for Mobutu? And I was like, oh, this is interesting. Let's see what they have to say. And so this is, I don't know, maybe from 10 something years ago, something like that. And it's French television. Also, their announcer in English cannot say Mobutu. Just the same Ronald Reagan, like Mobutu or whatever. Very strange. They send like a camera crew to his hometown, to his home village, like Badolite up there, where, he, like I said, invested all this money, built all this infrastructure, and then talks to a bunch of people who are like, yeah, things were a lot better when he was here. Yeah. Like, there was this wonderful bar, the Coca-Cola factory worked, all this stuff. Like, we had all these things. I'm like, oh, okay. And then they interview some musician who's like, well, he's the father of our nation. And I think that there is, from what I understand, and just like looking online, there is some like Mobutu nostalgia that exists.
But it was more proof that the French were nostalgic about it.
It really seemed to me that it was like, okay, so these are the people that tried to keep him in power until the very end. So like the Americans had pretty much abandoned the Mobutu project at that point, as had pretty much everybody else, except for France, for whatever reason. Again, I tend to think of it as, them wanting to maintain their role as the dominant power in Francophone Africa. And I mean, like, because if you think about it to this day, like Kinshasa, I think now is the largest Francophone city in the world. Like, and France has lost a lot over the last decade, especially, and whether in the Sahel and West Africa. So yeah, they're the only ones that really want to support him. So I'm like watching this propaganda piece, basically made 10 years ago, about a guy who died in 1997 and who was like the ultimate African Cold War.
Yeah.
Very strange to me.
Yeah.
And I think that from what I can tell, like the nostalgia that exists for him in Congo is because, as bad as that was, people always have like nostalgia for some periods of time in which
it can always get worse. Yeah.
It can always get worse. And it did get a lot worse.
Yeah.
Because again, when we talk about like the first Congo War and especially the second Congo War, it's overshadowed greatly by other conflicts in the 90s, for example, the Yugoslav conflict.
Yeah.
Even though, the second Congo War is the most deadly conflict in history after World War II.
Mokili mobimba, oyo kamalamu.